You need to stop feeling guilty for wanting more out of life. Stop apologizing for desiring a lifestyle that reflects your true worth. Somewhere along the way, people taught you that asking for more, dreaming bigger, or setting higher standards made you greedy. They made you feel wrong for wanting stability, luxury, and freedom. But let me tell you something, there is nothing wrong with wanting a life that is abundant. You are not here to settle for crumbs. You are not here to scrape by, barely surviving while giving your all to people and systems that never give back. You deserve to live in comfort. You deserve to enjoy the fruits of your hard work. And yes, you deserve to create a life where money flows to you with ease, because money is nothing but energy that allows you to build, to create, and to live on your own terms. You think about it. When you have financial independence, you have choices. You don't have to tolerate toxic environments, draining jobs, or manipulative people. You can walk away with confidence because you are not bound by desperation. That is power. That is freedom. And that is the level of security every woman should strive for. Too many women are taught to wait for someone else to provide for them, to shrink themselves into dependence. But the truth is, you are fully capable of creating, of thriving, of building your own empire. Loving the idea of abundance is not shallow. It is survival. It is protection. It is self-respect. When you embrace this mindset, you stop settling. You stop accepting the bare minimum. You stop entertaining people who drain you emotionally or financially. Because you already provide for yourself. Because you already know your value. You stop chasing and start attracting. So take up space. Step into your ambition without hesitation. Wanting stability, luxury, and freedom doesn't make you materialistic. It makes you aware of your worth. Elevate your standards. Work for what you deserve. Build that life unapologetically. Because when you do, you won't just change your own life. You'll inspire every woman who ever doubted her power. You know what the most liberating thing in the world is? It's not love. It's not approval. It's not validation. It's freedom. And freedom comes when you are financially independent. Too many people underestimate just how much of your peace, your happiness, and your self-respect depends on this. Because when you rely on others to keep you afloat, you hand them control over your life. You put your power in their pockets. And then you wonder why you feel trapped, why you feel small, why you feel like you can't leave situations that are draining the life out of you. Financial independence is not about money sitting in your bank account. It's about what that money represents. It's the ability to say no without fear. It's the ability to walk away from a toxic relationship because you don't need someone to pay your bills. It's the ability to leave a job that disrespects you because you know you have the skills and confidence to create more for yourself. That's what true freedom looks like. It's not glamorous, it's necessary. Think about the countless women who stay in relationships long after the love has died, long after the respect has vanished. Why? Because they're afraid of starting over with nothing, afraid of not knowing how they'll survive without someone else's financial support. Do you see how limiting that is? How suffocating it feels to be tied down, not by love, but by dependence. That's why I tell you, secure yourself first. Create a life where your survival doesn't depend on anyone else. And I know society has told women to be quiet about this, to not talk about money, to feel ashamed if they want more, to accept less, and call it humility. But humility won't pay your rent. Humility won't protect you from a partner who thinks you can't leave because you don't have options. Humility won't give you the life you deserve. Money does not make you shallow. Money gives you choices. And those choices are what allow you to live with dignity. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that no matter what happens, you are secure. That even if the world turns its back on you, you have the resources to stand tall. That even if people betray you, abandon you, or disappoint you, you won't crumble because you built a foundation for yourself. Do you know how powerful that feels? That's the kind of confidence that radiates from within. Because you're not tied down, you're not begging, you're not chasing, you're not settling, you're choosing. And let me be clear, financial independence is not just about survival. It's about expansion. It's about having the freedom to dream bigger, to travel, to explore,
to invest in your growth, to live a life that excites you, not one that drains you. It's about buying back your time so you don't have to live on someone else's terms. Because when you depend on someone else's money, you live by their rules. When you depend on your own, you create your own rules. And there is nothing more beautiful than that.
So many women shrink themselves out of fear. They stay small because they don't see another way. But the truth is, you are capable of so much more. You have ideas, talents, skills, all waiting to be nurtured and turned into something valuable. Why would you waste that by waiting for someone else to hand you security? Stop waiting, start creating, start building, start owning your power. Yes, it takes discipline. Yes, it takes courage. But wouldn't you rather work hard for a few years to create freedom for a lifetime than spend your entire life depending on people who may or may not respect you? The cost of dependence is always higher than the cost of independence because dependence eats away at your confidence. It keeps you in situations you should have walked away from years ago. It makes you question your worth. And for what? For scraps of security that you could have created yourself. There is nothing more attractive, more powerful, more unshakable than a woman who knows she doesn't need anyone to survive. A woman who can look at someone and say, I want you, but I don't need you. That's freedom, that's strength, and that's what financial independence gives you. So stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop letting people shame you into staying small. Go after opportunities. Build skills. Create wealth. Not because money defines you, but because money frees you. Because when you are financially independent, you finally have the courage to live the life you were meant to live on your terms, not anyone else's. That is the kind of power no one can take away from you. Wanting more out of life is not greed. Desiring comfort, luxury, stability, this is not selfishness. This is self-respect. Too many times women are conditioned to feel ashamed for wanting abundance. They're told, be humble, be simple, don't ask for too much, just be grateful for what you get. And so they shrink, they silence their desires, they convince themselves that settling for less is virtuous. But deep inside, there's a quiet voice that knows they deserve more. That voice inside you is not wrong. It's the truest part of you, and yet society tries to drown it out. They want you to accept the bare minimum, to be thankful for scraps, to think that abundance is for other people, but not for you. But let me ask you this. How can you respect yourself if you constantly deny your own desires? How can you claim to value yourself, but accept a life that doesn't reflect that value? Loving abundance is not shallow, it's powerful. When you demand better for yourself, you're not just chasing material things. You're making a statement about what you believe you're worth. When you say, I deserve comfort, I deserve stability, I deserve a life of freedom, you're affirming your own value. That is self-respect in its purest form. Think about the times you accepted less than you deserved. Maybe it was a job that underpaid you, a partner who gave you the bare minimum, or opportunities you let pass by because you didn't feel ready. Every time you allowed that, you were sending a silent message to yourself. This is all I'm worth. But you know what? That was a lie. You were worth more then, and you are worth more now. The difference is whether you'll finally start believing it. Abundance isn't about showing off. It's about security. It's about walking into a room and not feeling small because you know you're on solid ground. It's about not having to constantly worry about the next bill, the next rent payment, the next emergency. It's about being able to breathe, to live, to focus on growth instead of survival. That peace of mind is priceless. And when you value yourself, you will not feel guilty for wanting that. Do you know what happens when you don't respect yourself? You accept situations that hurt you. You stay around people who drain you. You settle for jobs that don't honor your skills. And all of that reflects one thing, a lack of belief in your own worth. But when you respect yourself enough to demand abundance, you naturally start filtering out everything that doesn't align with it. You stop entertaining half efforts, half love, half opportunities. You stop giving discounts on your value. And let me tell you something, people can sense it. The moment you start respecting yourself, your energy shifts. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, it all changes. You're no longer begging for crumbs because you know you deserve the whole table. And when you hold yourself to that standard, others have no choice but to rise up and meet it. Some will call it materialistic, some will call it unrealistic. But those words usually come from people who are afraid of wanting more themselves. People who settled and want you to settle too, so they feel less guilty about it. Don't let their fears become your limitations. You are not here to live small. You are not here to silence your desires. You are here to expand, to grow, to create a life that mirrors your true value. Self-respect is knowing you deserve the best and not being afraid to go after it. It's not just about demanding more from others. It's about demanding more from yourself. It's about saying, I will put in the work. I will build the discipline. I will create the opportunities because I refuse to live a life that insults my worth. That is not greed. That is power. So stop apologizing for wanting abundance. Stop acting like desiring a beautiful, secure, comfortable life makes you shallow. It doesn't. It makes you aware. It makes you conscious of your value. When you finally step into that awareness, everything shifts. You start walking away from people who can't meet you where you are. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop explaining and start embodying. But respecting yourself means refusing to live in lack. It means choosing a life that aligns with your highest potential. It means not being afraid to want more, to expect more, to receive more, because you are worthy. You always have been. The only difference is whether you'll finally claim it. So, love abundance, desire stability, chase comfort, own your worth. That isn't greed, it's self-respect. And the moment you embrace that, you realize that the life you once thought was too big for you was always meant for you. Stop waiting for someone to come and save you. Stop sitting around hoping that a partner, a family member, or some miracle will hand you the life you deserve. No one is coming to rescue you. And the truth is, you don't need rescuing. You need awakening. You need to realize that you are fully capable of building everything you've been waiting for on your own. Depending on others keeps you small. Creating for yourself makes you powerful. Think about how many women have been taught to rely on someone else, to wait for a man to provide, to let a family decide, to depend on the system, to play it safe. That conditioning is not protection. It's a trap. Because the moment you hand over responsibility for your life to someone else, you hand them control. And when they control you, they can manipulate you, abandon you, and mistreat you. Because deep down, they know you have nowhere else to go. That's not strength. That's not love. That's dependency. And dependency will never let you grow. When you start creating for yourself, something changes inside of you. The world feels different because you know you're no longer at the mercy of anyone else. You're not scared of being left behind because you're already moving forward on your own. You're not terrified of losing someone because you know you can stand without them. That is strength. That is freedom. That is what you should want for yourself. Look around at the women who inspire you the most. They are not the ones who begged for permission to live fully. They are the ones who built, who worked, who created, who refused to let life put them in a box, and you feel their power because they stand on their own. You don't admire dependence. You admire creation, and you have that same ability within you. Creating for yourself isn't just about money. It's about mindset. It's about refusing to settle for less than what you know you deserve. It's about saying, I will not sit here waiting for someone to give me opportunities. I will make them myself. It's about standing up every morning and knowing that everything you do today is building a foundation that no one can take away from you. When you depend on others, you live in fear. Fear of being abandoned. Fear of being replaced. Fear of what happens if they stop providing. But when you create for yourself, you live in confidence. Confidence that no matter what happens, you will always land on your feet. Confidence that you don't need anyone's approval to move forward. Confidence that you can't be shaken because your stability doesn't come from someone else. It comes from within. And here's the truth. When you create for yourself, you actually attract more because people are drawn to power. They're drawn to independence. They respect the woman who doesn't beg, who doesn't cling, who doesn't compromise her dignity just to be taken care of. You stop chasing and you start attracting, not because you need, but because you already have. Some people won't like it. They'll call you selfish, difficult, intimidating. But let me remind you, people who are threatened by your independence are usually the ones who benefited from your dependence. They liked you small, they liked you desperate, they liked you silent. So when you stand tall, of course they'll complain. But that's not your problem, that's their fear. And their fear cannot be the reason you stay weak. You deserve to walk into every situation with options. You deserve to know that even if everything around you falls apart, you will not, that you will keep moving, keep building, keep creating. That is what real power feels like. That is the type of power that no one can take away from you. So stop waiting, stop depending, stop putting your dreams on hold because you think someone else will hand them to you. Step into your own power and create, build skills, build confidence, build wealth, build a life that reflects the respect you have for yourself. Because once you do, you will never again tolerate being treated like you are replaceable. Creation is self-respect. Creation is protection. Creation is freedom. When you rely on yourself, no one can control you. No one can manipulate you. No one can hold you back. You become unstoppable. And that is exactly who you were meant to be. So take responsibility, take ownership, take your power back. The world doesn't give independence, you claim it. And once you do, you'll realize you were never meant to be small. You were always meant to rise.